What's up, everyone? Welcome to the most real podcast you will ever listen to. This is Unpolished, told by KirkSlay, and I am GlamSlay.
And this is Kirk, and we're back at it again with another podcast for you guys. Got a big show ahead for today. One more very deep in context topics. GlamSlay, what are we going to talk about today?
We are going to talk about timelines. I feel like we need some magical wand or music after I say that.
Right. I don't know what I was doing there.
Yeah, I know. I'm so confused.
The Twilight Zone. We've reached the Twilight Zone.
I said a magic wand, and he said the Twilight Zone. We are clearly not on the same page. It is very different.
Oh, my gosh. So, man, timelines, man. So what do we mean by timelines, GlamSlay?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think a couple things. So we mean timelines, families, babies, marriages, career, finances, right? I think
those life milestones.
Milestones. That's a great word. Milestones. I think it's something that, to get real with you guys, when we were developing this podcast, it was years in the making. And so we had a whole list of topics that we wanted to get real with. And this one was top 3 on our list.
Oh, for sure.
Because I think it's relatable.
Top 3 and it's not 3.
I knew he was going to say that. I knew it. I was waiting for it.
You left me to space.
It was too much time. There was too much silence. I think it's relatable and it's very real. And I also think, to give you guys a little background, so I think Kirk aired me out on the last episode that I am turning 40 in a couple months.
Was that me?
Yeah, that was you.
Oh, man.
And so I think as I head to 40, it's a really big deal for me, right? And so as I head there, I start to reflect on my life and think about the timelines, think about milestones, and I really have just observed a lot of people around me over the past year, and it's a lot to do with timelines.
What you mean? 40 to new 30.
Is it, though?
That's what they say.
I am just grateful
40 to new 30.
for my girl Holly, because she injects my face and makes it young.
That's funny.
Yeah. So 40 is not so bad when you have a Holly in your life.
Shout out Holly.
Shout out Holly. I love her. So that's really where we came out with this. I think it's going to get intense quick. And so there's your discretion advised. It's going to be a juicy one, and it could be offensive to some and real to others, but we want to be relatable, and we want you guys to know that it's okay to talk about this stuff, because it's very hush hush hidden. You don't talk about timelines.
I think everyone, has somewhat of a timeline in their head. I mean, obviously maybe not everyone, but I'd probably go ahead and say 75, 80, maybe.
All right, well, you're going to say that,
85%.
Kirk. Now I'm going to put you on the spot. You knew I was going to do that, right? Did you, or do you, have a timeline or clock in your head for these so-called milestones? And I want you to be honest.
Yeah, I will be honest, and I definitely did, and so to an extent still do. Luckily, I will say, since I've been with my girlfriend now, that I think that she's helped me get rid of these milestones in my head. But no, I definitely had milestones in my head and had these timelines and was trying to hit them. I was the guy that I always thought, I'd be married and have at least one child by 27.
Ooh, that's
out of college at 22, and house, all of that, by 30. And things just didn't happen that way. But
let me hold on. I want to pause you for a second.
Okay.
Where did that come from? Where did that little voice in your head say, "Oh my God, 30 is the magic number. I can't, if I don't do this by the time I'm 30." What? Satan's gonna come out? I'm confused. Does the sky open? I don't understand.
Yeah, I think well, my friends and I used to joke back in the day, we'll be a millionaire by 30. Right?
I mean, I don't hate that idea.
Used to joke around I'm gonna have my first million by 30, and maybe some of them did. I don't know, but no, for me, I guess probably looking at my family, and I think it probably started there, whereas my parents 4 years of college, right out of school, and my parents did have me young, but they met in college, been together since all that time, and I just always saw that as that was the blueprint, and that's how things should be. So I wanted the same thing. And
Did they fall? I mean, I know your parents, right? And they're amazing people, and I
oh
think
yeah.
they've been great role models to you. But did your parents follow the exact blueprint of what it
Oh
was supposed
no.
to look like?
No, I mean, well, some people say what you're supposed to be married and have children, right? Married first,
Says
then
who?
have a child.
Says who? I'm gonna
No,
keep
yeah.
challenging you.
No,
Says
I'm saying
who?
that's what society, right? Society says, or religion, right? Religion too, like married then children. My parents weren't married when they had me.
And you turned out all right. They're
Yeah.
great people. Yeah.
Yeah, they're great. I'm great. My brother's good.
Your brother's a cool dude.
Yeah. Shout out Kirk.
We have a lot of shout outs today. But I guess I'm having a really hard time, right? And Kirk has heard me talk a lot about this, and my friends have. It just bothers me to the core that we live in a world. My son's going to grow up in a world, and I'll be damned if I don't tell him, like, the real truth that it is okay to follow a different path. Because I look at you, and when I look at you, you're incredibly intelligent. You have a great life. You have a great lady. You have your stuff together. But in your mind, because you took a different path of what society told you, it's effed up to you.
Well, it definitely took a while to get to this point. So let's not. It wasn't all roses and sunshine as in unicorns, as you say, GlamSlay. Roses and unicorns.
It's wise
right?
today, you guys.
But no, yeah, it took a while to get here. But I think, just like anybody else, man, and my path made me who I am today, and my struggles, my trials, and my tribulations made me the strong man that I am today. And things are progressing, and things are going very well for me. And I don't now looking back, I don't regret anything.
But see, here's the thing. Now that you look back, right? Had you known, it's always that, like, had I known then what I know now, right? Because I think about myself, and had I took a different turn at any step in my life, I would never be where I am today.
True.
And so my path made me a better person.
No, I totally agree. But let's turn this around on you. Like, so question right back to you. Did you ever at any point have a timeline in your head of when you wanted to achieve certain milestones in your life?
I don't think I had a timeline, like an age, so to speak. I think that myself, I'm very critical of myself, so I always pushed myself to the edge, right? It was always, you have to be better, you have to do better, you have to, be successful. For me, it was different, right? Because when I was growing up and when I was in my 20s, all my friends were getting married and having babies, and I went out and bought a business. And so I didn't care about that. I was like, okay, cool. You do you over there, and I'm going to do me. Didn't want a relationship. I didn't want noise. I didn't want anything. I wanted to put my head down and grind, because I knew if I did that, I would get to a place. Now, I will share something semi-personal with you, that when I was younger, I was very successful, but I was foolish because I was so young. And so I made poor choices. I made bad decisions. And had I not, I don't think I would appreciate value the way I do today. And so I think that sometimes when you're given that stuff so young, you can't appreciate it. When you get to a place in your life, like now, I have a different mindset of what it's supposed to look like.
Right. Yeah. And I think one thing that life has taught me is to appreciate the grind, appreciate the struggle, and then now where you're at, and then now appreciate where you're at now, because those trials and tribulations got you here.
1000%. I mean, I've been through a lot of shit in my life, like a lot of things that I wish didn't happen, but I'm grateful for it, right? I'm grateful for the journey and the lessons. But I will say, I see people that are so tainted by it, right? I see people that are unhappy because they followed that voice in their head that said there's a clock, and if you don't do this, the alarm's going to go off and the sky opens and everything. Everybody yells and screams and you're judged. And I think that's a lot of it too, right? You know, you mentioned sometimes social media. I think social media has ruined humans.
Honestly, it's a big dick measuring contest.
Yikes. That was tough.
Yeah, I know it was rough. but for real though, like, I mean, and I'll keep it 100. Like, those timelines, like, I didn't go to my 10-year reunion.
Why?
For that exact reason.
Why didn't you go?
Man, like, because I personally just felt like I wasn't where I needed to be, where I should be. You know, so I was like, yeah, I'm not even going to that.
This pisses me off, like, to the core.
Yeah, I'm not even pulling up to that.
He pisses me off, you guys. I can't, like that is so wild
like,
to me.
Like to me, I was like, damn, like, I'm still driving my mom's car. Like, I just started my career. Like, and you know, there's probably other people that, you know, might be pulling up in Beamers or Benzes, and I'm not like that, so I'm definitely not going to that shit.
You're wild.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't go to mine for other reasons, but
yours is excusable, like.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about that on another episode,
Definitely.
but I didn't feel the need, and you know, but when I look at you, I think to myself, like, there are people that would like to be in your shoes and in your place, but in your mind you're so
in my mind, I
critical.
Was like, I was like, nah, I'm not pulling up to that.
But it's also like going back to social media. Come on now. Do you think that everybody's life really looks like what they portray on social media?
I definitely don't think that. You show only what you want to show.
And there's like a meme that's out there. I don't have it up, but it says like, make sure you're just as pretty in real life as you are on social media because like it is not real. I cannot tell you how many lately, I don't know if it happens to you, but like I see all these girls getting married and girls getting engaged and girls posting and if you line them up, you can't even pick them out of a lineup because all their rings look the same. All the proposals look the same because they're doing it for the gram. Like, who does that?
Staged shit.
That's wild crazy.
Staged.
Because they want to look like they have this picture perfect life.
Can we try this again?
Try what again?
Talking about I'm talking about when someone's on like you're on bended knee. That didn't look good enough for the picture.
Oh my God, stop. Can you imagine?
Can we try that again?
That's so wild. And if I see one more, and no offense to anybody that's done it, that's why like I feel bad sometimes because you're probably a really great person. But if I see one more picture of like somewhere on the beach down on one knee, like get creative with it. Like, why are we doing that? I don't understand. Like it's like everybody just wants it for the gram and the TikTok thing. I don't do TikTok, but however that happens.
I'm not on TikTok. I'm too old for that.
Like what it needs to be authentic, and I feel like no one is living an authentic life because everything is so forced.
Jeez, man, these timelines, man, they got people messed up. Society,
I can go on a spiral about this all day. So you just said something. My next question for you. Do you think society plays a part in deciding whether or not you are progressing in life or successful or falling behind or putting this stereotype on someone that they didn't make the timeline?
Yeah, I mean, listen, that just ties into exactly why I didn't go to my 10-year reunion. Like the visual of that, you know, like exactly why I didn't go. You know, you want to project like you're successful. You want to project that you're doing big things. And if you're not, you know, like for me, I felt like I wasn't doing big things, so I did not. I excused myself from the situation completely. And you know, I'm not a big social media person. Like I'm not on the gram. Like I think my most recent picture is probably from 2 years ago. I'm on there, but you know, when you see other people and they're doing things and things like that, and it make it seem like they're, you know, spending a lot of money or they're going on vacation all the time and things like that. I mean, I can only imagine like what that does for some folks. You know, when when thinking about timelines and like, you know, damn, maybe my job isn't good enough. Oh shoot, that person's definitely making 100K. I'm not making that. What do I got to do that? You know.
I think there's a caveat to that. I know a lot of really rich people that are the most miserable people you will ever meet in your entire life. So I think it goes both ways.
Yeah.
I do. You could be very happy and content and not be driving a Benz or a Beamer or a Jag or whatever.
I don't drive a Benz.
Well, I mean, listen, here he goes again.
I'm happy in my vehicle right now.
And that's great. And so am I. But that's beside the point. I think it's just, I think you're putting a lot of this. It has to do with how much money's in your bank account, what you're rolling up in. Like, I know a lot of CEOs that drive Hondas, and they are successful smart and saving their money.
Smart people.
And listen.
You know a car depreciates value like 20% as soon as you drive off the lot?
1,000%. And Hondas and Jeeps are the most, like, they keep their value. You could drive those forever.
Yep.
But anyway, I just, I just think it's horrible, right? Like, that we're living in this world. I think for me, I feel it now more than ever because I am very much judged. I live in a very affluent town that they have all white picket fences. They're all married with 3 kids or 4 kids, and the dogs and it's the pretentious lifestyle. And when I moved to this town, everyone's like, pump the brakes. Who's this chick? Like, rolling up in a nice car. She's a single mom. She lives in a nice place. Like, I was judged. Like, I am still judged. I don't go to events because I walk in and everyone's turning around like, oh, there she is. Like, do they feel sorry for me? I am a happy human being.
People hate the real.
I don't get it. I have been very blessed to meet a handful of amazing women that, my son is friends with their kids, and they are just badass boss chicks, and I am so grateful for them. But it's like you go to a party and we're on one side and the other moms are on the other, staring at us, pointing. Like, why? For what reason? And half of these chicks hate their husbands, talk about them. I'm miserable. I'm this. They wear leggings as pants. Like, who? I just, why you mad? Like, I don't understand. I don't get it. Why do people? Stop laughing. I'm making him laugh.
I'm sorry.
Was it the leggings
funny.
as pants?
The leggings as pants.
It was
killed
that.
Me.
That set you over the edge. It's hurtful, right? I think because I have thick skin, I'm not going to sit at home and cry in the corner.
Chicks out here wearing body out to dinners and shit.
It should be like illegal. There should be something. Like, how many times have I been cut off in a minivan in the school line, and I'm like, yo, what's good? Like, why?
Jesus.
They're mad. And I'm waving out my window like
waving
no big
the
deal.
Entitlement flag.
It's wild. Like, people are cruel, and it's because they're whispering like, oh, she doesn't have a 5-carat ring on her finger, and she's she doesn't drive a minivan. Thank God.
We should pull up. You ever see that guy, that meme? I know we're getting off topic, but you ever see that video of the kid who walks up to his teachers and he like tests their rings?
Oh my God, stop it.
Yeah. And
like,
he tells you if your ring is fake right off the bat. Yo, you got to see that. You ever seen it before?
No.
Oh my gosh, hysterical.
It's just wild though. Like,
I only said it because I feel like we should like.
It would be fun.
Next kids party.
I love to mess with them though,
next
man.
kids party.
Yeah, I think I should.
Find it and just like.
I'm
hey,
gonna bring the
ring?
diamond finder. Yeah, it just happened. I was just at a birthday party, and I thank God my girl Hazel. What up, Hazel? I love her. She is like such a real chick, and her son and my son are really good friends. They are besties, and thank God she was there because these chicks, man, they just sit there and they stare, and it's like, I don't get it. Are you mad because our lashes are on fleek? Like, because Vanessa does both of our lashes. Like, are you mad because you're miserable? I can't figure it out, but it affects that, like, moms are mean. It's just mean. And I think that's where a lot of this comes from, is because a lot of these women followed the clock and followed the I need to do this by then, and they're going to stay like that because they're afraid of what someone's going to say if they leave it.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I have no words for people like that.
Yeah, it's I see it more now than ever, and I think, it's what has fueled a lot of my thoughts about this, because we're teaching our kids that that's okay. And for me, I think, I want my son to be happy. I chose the path that I did because I wanted my son to know that it is never okay to be unhappy. You have to follow what your truth is. And so I am very real with him. I maybe to a fault. I've never talked baby talk to him. I keep it 100, like, because it is so important he grows up knowing that it's okay to follow a different road.
I was just gonna ask you, like, so what would be the way that you would, discuss these types of things with him if he ever says, Mom, what if like when he comes home and he might be hard on himself one day and he's like, Mom, like, I don't know, like so and so is doing this and that and I'm not doing that. Like, what would be your message to him? Like,
It happens now, I think, with sports, right? Because he's an athlete and he plays football, basketball, soccer, baseball. And he had that happen in football. And there was a boy that he, in his mind, was better than him. He wasn't. I'm telling you right here, he was not better than him. Anyway,
I
but
heard you were from what you were telling me. Logan's a young Christian McCaffrey.
he is a star, man. And I'm not just saying that because he's my kid, but he's also, I mentioned it before, he's a perfectionist. And so he came home and he was like, why can't I play? Why am I not good? Why is he better? And, there were a lot of conversations and I had to really get to the core of like, it's okay to drop the ball. It is okay to miss a pass. Tom Brady missed passes. He wasn't perfect. And now look at him. He's the GOAT, right? And so it's just being real. You have to be honest with your kids. And I know a lot of people are not. They sugarcoat stuff. They hide things. I don't hide anything from my son. I am an open book with him because he is never going to learn real unless, and listen, I'll tell you something else. He was on FaceTime with one of his friends. He was at my house, and so he shares time between my house and his dad. And the boy that obviously he was talking to, he said, I have to go. Logan said, I have to go to my dad's. And the boy made a comment of like, oh, you don't live at your house. You go back and forth because they're 7 and they don't understand. And I had to have a conversation with Logan. Like, that's okay. This is 2022 and this is a normal thing. And, I think it's just parents are ignorant to it and they don't talk about it with their kids.
No, yeah, I definitely agree with that. But that, man, what's wrong with that kid?
Yeah, it was, I had a moment. I had to like namaste for a second. And
my mom would have been like, excuse me. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Hey. So what have you learned from the path that you took?
Oh, God. Do you have a couple hours? I think that might take a long time. What have I learned? I learned it's okay to not be okay. That was like my motto of the entire year. I said it a lot because I think that everybody bubbles everything up because of society and you don't want to be vulnerable on social media. You don't want to go on social media without makeup on. You don't want to say you're having a bad day or someone might think differently of you. F that. I'm over it. Get real. Like, it's time to get real. And so I've learned that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to ask for help. It is okay to show a real side because there is too much fake out there. And the most beautiful stories are unplanned. They are an accident. Serendipity. It's one of my favorite movies. That is the most beautiful story. I know people that have these elaborate weddings and their marriage lasts a year. Their marriage lasts 2 years. Run away. Go to Vegas. Get engaged outside somewhere. Get engaged in an elevator. Get engaged at a table. Like, I don't know. If I could tell the younger me anything, it would be do it off the cuff. Don't follow the rules because rules were made to be broken, and that is going to be your best story.
Amen.
That's my
preaching.
That's my piece. That's my truth. What about you?
Oh yeah, no.
What have you learned?
I don't know. I've had this one definitely hits home because like I said, I've definitely felt like I lived my life by timelines for a majority of it so far, and really just became within the last couple of years become okay with where I'm at. Knowing that where I'm at is perfectly fine. I'm where I need to be, and then it's okay to still want more, and still want to be, further along, but I'm okay where I'm at. And to be honest with you, I've caught up heavy, like as far as if you wanted to go like, you know, if you wanted to go cookie cutter or whatever, and based on I caught up a long time ago, you know. But now, what I learned from my path is, it's okay to have your own path. It's okay to carve your own make your own way in this life. And now, I actually coach basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I coach like high schoolers. I've coached middle schoolers, and I'm using my path and my experiences as a way to make things okay with the kids that I coach. So I got kids on my team now that they're not playing high school basketball, maybe because of grades or something happened and they got in trouble and they weren't able to try out. So now I'm able to say, hey, listen, like, you got time, you're still young, you didn't make the grades this time, you can go back and get those grades. What are you and saying, like, what are you doing to make it happen for you next time around? And then I could tell them my story, like, hey, things didn't work out for me how I planned. I didn't go to college right after high school. I didn't graduate within 4 years, but persevere, fight through it, make a plan, and they listen to that, especially for someone who's not too far off from where their age. I'm not too far off from their age.
Oh my God.
I'm still a young one.
I can't. I cannot.
But no, definitely. I learned a lot from my path, man, and I like to share. I like to share my story, with others when it comes up. Actually, and speaking of this, the other day, a buddy of mine from high school posted that he had graduated from college, and and obviously, we're early 30s now, and I felt as though, and I hadn't talked to him in probably a good 3 to 4 years, maybe haven't seen him in 3 to 4 years, maybe even more, honestly, and I felt like I had to reach out to him and say, yo, congratulations.
Yeah,
I'm
that's a
happy
big
for
deal.
you. I'm so excited that you graduated,
Yeah.
because I know for me, it took me 8 years to graduate college. And for him it took him more, and the fact that he still stuck it out, and he grinded through, and he powered through, and he finished. I had to give him all the praise, because I know, because and he might not have been feeling how I was feeling when I graduated, but I know that, and maybe not feeling the same way about timelines either, but man, that was something, and I felt like I had to reach out to him and say, congrats, because that's perseverance.
That's a really big
That's
accomplishment. That's
perseverance.
amazing.
And it has to do with timelines,
But I think you also bring up another good point, and this could turn into a whole other situation, but do you notice that people don't clap for others anymore because of these timelines? Like, you felt the need to reach out to him. I was having this conversation with one of my very good friends. I think it was yesterday. People don't clap for each other. They're so mad. They're so salty. They're so bitter. And so I am a huge believer of clap for someone that is winning.
For sure.
I especially do
to.
it with ladies. Like,
You got
I
to.
have a lot of ladies in my circle that are boss bitches. Like, these chicks are running it, and I applaud them. And you have to, they say, fix your friend's crown if it's tilted, because I would want someone to do that for me, and it is very rare. And so I think another thing that society did was make us bitter, right? Like, never. I will always clap. I will always be cheering.
You got to cheer for your comrades, man.
Yeah, that's a really big accomplishment. Wow.
I think I'm blessed to have the group of friends that I have, where we always want the best for each other.
Yeah, your friends are cool, man.
We might joke each other. Definitely joking each other.
Yeah, you have some cool friends. That's definitely very rare to find.
We want each other to win, man. When one of us wins, we all win.
That's the thing, is that if you're, you surround yourself with like human beings, and everybody wins together, right? And so I think it's It's super important, but it also makes me really sad because it's not what's happening right now. And I think that it's going to take people to just keep talking about it to change it.
What did Fab say? No squares in my circle, best shape I ever been.
Oh my God. We can't get through this damn podcast without him referencing some kind of song or another.
Hey yo, that's bars.
Yeah, it is. It is bars. I'll give you that. I was going to say something to you, and now I totally lost my train of thought. I can't even remember what I was going to say.
That Fab bar was crazy.
Oh, you know what I was going to say? Because we were talking about, timelines and people not going down the right path. Can we just talk about for a second? Because this brought it a whole discussion among some of my friends. Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox, they did not take a regular path, right? And there was a lot of controversy around, oh my God, she has a weird ring. Her ring is stunning. I'm not an emerald person, but okay, Machine Gun Kelly, I see you.
I thought the shape was cool.
It was cool. And I don't, like I said before, like I would pick her out right out of a lineup because it doesn't look the same. It's not this round diamond that's boring and you got nothing in it and everybody has the same one and all that. I mean, how cool. And then they drank each other's blood because to them, I think it's cool. You think it's weird. I know. There was something but there was a story behind it and it meant something to them. And they got a lot of shit on, social media and in the news because it was weird and they didn't do it like everyone else. Good for you. I am applauding them.
I mean, I'm good with everything else they were doing, but that I don't know. I'm not drinking no blood.
I think it was cool.
Sorry.
I don't know. There was something very cool about it. But I think, things like that are frowned upon because it's not what society tells us is okay. I just like F society. I'm so over it.
I mean, I wear black all the time.
So do I. What does that mean?
Society doesn't tell you to wear black all the time.
Oh my God. I can't. I mean, I guess. I don't know.
Them timelines, man.
Yeah, they'll get you every time.
Moral of the story is,
don't follow the yellow brick road.
Make your own way.
Make your own path. Do it your way. Screw what everybody else says. Who's everybody?
The best way to be is unique. Be yourself.
And tell a story. Tell
Go
us
outside
your
the
story.
grain.
You know what? I want to hear other people's stories.
Yeah, we want to hear everybody's stories.
Send us an email, unpolishedpod@yahoo.com. Tell us your path. We want to hear it. If it was different, if you didn't follow a traditional path, we applaud you. And so write to us and let us know.
Most definitely. What was it again?
unpolishedpod@yahoo.com.
Still new. It's still new.
Can you tell who manages the email account? Can anyone tell that?
You're the marketer.
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
All right, y'all. Well, I think that's all we have for today. You think of anything else?
That's all we have. That was a really intense conversation.
Intense, but sometimes those conversations need to be had though, and that's why we're doing this, because these are the conversations that nobody else is having, and we got to talk about these types of things. So and that's what makes it fun.
Yeah, for sure. And don't forget, be afraid and do it anyway. Like I said, we want to hear from you. Send us questions, comments, topics at unpolishedpod@yahoo.com.
Be sure to tune in next week. Hit that follow or subscribe button. And until next time, peace and love, y'all.